Okay, we're back to Ohio again. Ohio just can't seem to stay out of the news as far as this drug plague is concerned. Here's a story of a drug overdose of a sheriff's wife, and also how the morgues just stay full in the state of Ohio. Here, heroin spares no one, not even the sheriff's wife. I'm going to go ahead and play the video.
It is ravaging every single segment of our society. This is a chemical, almost warfare on us that people don't know how to control.
The high school cheerleader addicted at 15. The 20-year-old baseball player dead. These fathers now inmates because of their addiction. And even the sheriff's former wife addicted. This is the real picture of America's opioid crisis, where drugs don't discriminate. It's infesting neighborhoods across the heartland and from coast to coast.
These are kids. They're your next door neighbor, my next door neighbor, my kids' friends, our children.
I tell my kids when they come to my treatment court, you have three options in my court. You graduate from treatment court, you're going to prison, or you're going to be dead.
Death, jail, or recovery. The only options for the millions of Americans now addicted to opioids, from prescription pain pills like oxycodone to street drugs like heroin and fentanyl. The intersection of I-70 and I-75 means Ohio has become a distribution hub for drugs and a crossroads for this crisis. The Ohio Department of Health says more than 3,400 people across the state died from an opioid overdose just last year. Here, the morgue freezers are overflowing with the bodies of those who lost their battle.
The overdose rate has doubled in the last 5 months. So since the end of December 2016, we have seen an amazing, alarming increase in the number of accidental overdose deaths.
Montgomery County Coroner Dr. Kent Harshbarger says the death rate is 3 times what it was just 2 years ago. Nearly every night, his morgue freezer fills up, and up to 70% of the bodies in here are mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters who died from an opioid overdose.
There's no one excluded. This is happening to every socioeconomic class in our community, every age.
One of them, just last year, was 20-year-old Bradley Stokesbury.
Great kid, great student, love life.
Brad died from an overdose in the same hospital where he was born.
He was going to carry on the Stokesbury name. He was my only son.
He overdosed on a Sunday, just hours after he went to church with his parents, then to a friend's house, then he collapsed. Dr. Harshbarger found the opioid fentanyl more powerful than heroin in his system.
Do you still wake up some mornings and think, this didn't happen to us?
Oh, yeah.
I wake up every morning with that.
How are you holding up?
It makes me feel good to help others talk about it. Because usually, I'm okay with it. Not okay, but I'm better than most. And I don't know. It helps me to have others talk about it. And when they get it out, it helps me get it out.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you want everyone to remember about your big brother?
Just his smile. His laugh.
What do you say to parents out there?
Talk to your kids.
Yeah, talk to your kids.
You did that and you lost your son.
Yeah. And that's why it's even more important. We would have done it more, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Harshbarger has had to perform autopsies on victims as young as 13 months. Babies dying from exposure to their parents' drugs.
What's most challenging is seeing the same story repeated over and over again. The death rate is so fast.
So fast and rising, because even though the total number of opioid prescriptions has declined significantly, the street-made opioids are only getting stronger and more deadly.
There's much more powerful products on the street, so it's the fentanyl and the fentanyl analogs. Carfentanil is designed as a large animal tranquilizer, so you can deliver a very powerful product in a very small amount, so a dart into a large animal like an elephant, and can paralyze them. And so that small amount in a human is lethal.
We are experiencing a number of deaths that are simply unparalleled with anything that we've known in our history. It is ravaging every single segment of our society. If we don't do something, then we lose our great thinkers. We lose those people who are going to contribute to our economy over time. We lose our professors, all of our great educators. This runs across all socioeconomic lines, and we lose our future.
We lose our future.
We lose our future. We can't take that position.
Judge Anthony Capizzi is trying to save that future. He runs the Montgomery County Juvenile Court, but lately he sees his job as much more than that.
I have jurisdiction over children to their age 21. The challenge for me right now is to keep them alive that long. I run the treatment court here, and I have my treatment court on Thursdays. And there are days I don't sleep because I worry that by Monday they'll be dead. I have on my bench pictures of all these young people that passed away in this courtroom who sat here in front of me and now they're dead. Rachel's one of the youngest girls I had because she was using heroin 2-3 years ago when it was really rare for a child to use it.
When my counselor said, like, I want you to picture your mom coming to the morgue to identify your body, like that just, it broke me. Like, I can't picture putting my mom through so much.
Rachel was a high school cheerleader. She graduated with a 4.0, but under it all was a heroin addiction since the age of 15.
How does a 15-year-old cheerleader from Ohio start doing heroin? Like, it started my freshman year and I was doing good. I was cheerleading. Well, I ended up like not going to school as much and I ended up getting kicked off the cheerleading team.
So your heroin addiction landed you in jail and rehab. Did you think you could end up in the morgue?
I did. I overdosed twice, like officially, like when I was 15, before I had stopped.
You overdosed twice at 15 years old. For people watching across America who think this can't happen to my kids, and this can't happen in my neighborhood, and this can't happen in my family, what do you say to them?
It can. It did. I never thought that I would be on drugs ever. I never, like, I thought I was happy, had it all, and then all of a sudden it was taken from me.
So what's this?
This is one of our basketball cheerleading pictures.
That's you in the front row.
Yeah.
Just 2 months ago, Rachel relapsed. Only once, she says, succumbing to her addiction.
I tell myself, like, the average person, like, relapse, it's a part of recovery. I had to keep moving and get up.
Who are these inmates that are in here for opiates?
It's just a cross section of our community. You know, you have 20-year-olds.
Claremont County Sheriff Robert Leahy knows the havoc heroin can inflict all too well. His then wife became addicted. First, it was prescription painkillers as she recovered from a severe fall, but that ballooned into a heroin addiction while they had a 3-year-old son at home. Now, after treatment, she's been sober for 3 years.
While she was in treatment, she had caught on to another group of people who brought her up to the next level, which was heroin. It will take your family and turn it upside down.
It did that to you?
Absolutely.
It broke your family apart.
Yes.
Claremont County has seen opioid overdoses increase 2,000% in just the last decade. He runs this jail, but knows jail alone doesn't heal addiction. It takes more. That's why they've started the CAST program here.
Have some compassion, and my job is to enforce the law, but you can also do that with some compassion. You just can't throw everybody's ass in jail. It's like a rehabilitation therapy in a jail setting.
Rehab in jail.
Rehab in jail.
Is it working?
Yeah, I think the numbers right now are showing us that it's promising.
When I was 18 years old, someone talked me into using heroin. They said it's a lot stronger. They said you don't get sick from it like everyone tells you, which was obviously a lie. And I started doing it, and very quickly I was doing it every day.
And you're clean now?
Yeah, I actually feel great now. And what I think this program did for me is in the jail, you go to jail, you don't really learn anything. I think this program gave me the ability to take a mess and turn it into a message.
A message of hope for his 4-year-old daughter.
I just want to be a good role model for her. I want to stay clean. I'd like to go to college. I still have dreams and stuff. I'm still young. And I just want her to be able to look up to me and say, like, that's my dad, and be able to follow me, and it'd be a good thing.
Brent is 36, a father of 3, and says he's been addicted to opioids half his life.
When you were 18 and you took that first pill, what were your dreams then? What did you want to be?
I wanted to fight for my country. I wanted to join the Marines. I'm lucky that I had an opportunity to come here instead of committing more felonies, because that's probably where the drug would have taken me.
You feel lucky to be in jail?
Yeah. I mean, with the epidemic that's going on right now with heroin or fentanyl or whatever they're putting in the dope now, I could be dead.
He was arrested for driving high while his 5-year-old son was in the back seat.
There's no real excuse for what I did except for, that's the length you go, because you try to live your life, but when you're addicted to a drug like that, you have to use that drug to keep yourself going.
For people watching across America that say, that's them, that's not me.
It's everybody. I mean, I don't know how many times I've been sitting there waiting on my dealer, and I've seen people in Lexus, Mercedes, getting out in business suits, going to the same dope dealer I was going to. It could happen to anybody.
Does it ever come to the back of your mind, Sheriff, that you think could have been my son?
Oh, yeah. Scared to death. Scared to death.
Scared to death and coping with more and more death. Preliminary data in Ohio show 86% of drug overdoses last year involved an opioid.
I do think that there is still a feeling across the country thinking that is so tragic, but that can't happen to me, and that's not in my neighborhood, and that's not in my house, and that's not in my family.
No, it is.
You're naive if you think that, because it's everywhere.
These are the families living heroin's hell and watching their dreams and their children's dreams slip away.
All right, y'all. There's a lot of documentaries coming out through Ohio. This got to be about the 3rd or 4th one I've seen. And as you can see, they're nowhere near to the end of this plague that's hit the country. And you can see the sheriffs was talking about his wife and all of these other people. They said the morgues just stay full in Ohio constantly since this whole heroin epidemic started years ago. And now, in 2017, they said they cannot stop the morgues from stacking up with bodies. And, of course, there's a lot of frustration towards Donald Trump because he's literally not doing anything about this. And people feel like they voted for him. And this was one of the key reasons a lot of people in the Rust Belt voted for Donald Trump, because they thought he really was going to keep his word and help them through this epidemic. Because, there are towns that are literally sinking because there's so many junkies in one town. And this is why you keep hearing about a place like Middletown, Ohio, where it says there's virtually no one there that's not on drugs. So I'm going to leave the link to this story in my description box. And you can look at it at your own leisure. I'm not going to read through it because the video pretty much says the same thing that the story says. But leave your comment and subscribe. And if you can donate to my channel, please do. Peace, family.